It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Monday. We're live right here on your Feel Good opening up on S3, and we're talking about some champions, some people that have found their flow state, and people that have found their thing. Now, if you haven't found your thing, you want to listen to this right now, because 20 years ago, when then clothing designer Chantal Lascaris, her husband, suggested that she writes her own cookbook for salads, she would never have imagined that it would lead to her now having 4 successful cookbook titles under her belt. Now, many have wondered what it took for her to find her thing, right? And Chantal is joining us in studio right now this morning amidst the release of her latest cookbook, All Sorts of Tapas, to share some creative tips on how you can find your own gorgeous thing that is all yours. Welcome to the show. It's
Thanks
so good having you. And your energy is pure, it's alive, you've got this glow. I can see why you needed to express this in a medium. And let's talk about this cookbook. If you haven't and hadn't even suggested doing a cookbook, I mean, where did this passion for just life and everything else even just come from for you?
I think probably it started because I've been a serial entrepreneur. I mean, as a little girl, I think I was 11 when I started making lip glosses.
Yeah, okay.
And I was going around to all the mums asking for the ends of the lipsticks, because you've actually got a lot of lipstick at the bottom. So I learned to fish it out, and I made my mom go and buy me pots, so I didn't ruin the cooking pots. And I got little sort of jars and containers, and I started making my own lip gloss and started selling them to all the girls at school. So I've always liked doing things. I think I'm a bit of a doer, and that's probably where it all started.
I must just say, I love it, because like you're ahead of your time there. You're recycling, upcycling.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
That was a genius move.
I just wanted pink lips. That's all I wanted at the
But again,
time.
following your passion. Now, this is a question which I love how you wrap your mind around this entire sort of scenario. Now, many people, before they want to try something, they're very intimidated and they don't get involved in it because they're like, how? I don't know anything about it, so how can I try? Exactly. You, however, suggest that that's possibly the best way to do it, right?
I really believe it. I think there's so many people that are petrified to actually start anything because they say, I don't have the right job, I don't have the right credentials, I don't drive the right car, I don't have the right clothes, or whatever it is. And I really believe that that's just an excuse. You're just putting those obstacles in the way, and you don't need to. It's you. It's about you and what you can do and what you believe you can do. I think that's what's so important, is it doesn't matter about all the things. I mean, I started off and I'd have no qualifications, but I ran a factory in Joburg. I had 150 staff. I worked in the Middle East. Half my business was there. And I started off being a receptionist. I answered the telephone. So I really don't believe you need to have 10 degrees behind you to do what you want to do.
Yeah, and I think maybe a lot of that possibly comes in with this fear that we inherently have of, like, we want to do it the best way we can. And often the thought of that almost paralyzes us into doing nothing because we're so scared of doing something wrong. And we don't want to actually get started. But again, you seem to find the silver lining in this, right?
I believe so. I think also you don't have to start. You know, nobody starts off and lands up in a corner office.
Yeah.
You know, we don't all have the laptops that we open up and the BMW cars. You start small. I used to walk to work. I didn't have a car. If my mom couldn't take me, I would have to walk. So I would put my tackies on, and then I would walk, and then I'd put my little high heels on when I arrived. So I think it's also about just taking small steps. So just start small. You don't have to, you know where you want to be. Yes, that's always great to have that, and I believe that's very important.
Goal to work towards,
very important, so you know where you are. But you're not going to get there tomorrow. It's okay if you don't get there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, just do baby steps. That, for me, is what it's all about. And enjoy it. I think that's also the other part.
Probably one of the most important ones. And I think what you're saying, it's so simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. And that's what you're really looking at here. One thing I love especially is how, when you're looking at someone embarking on their journey, and you take today's world where we are so influenced by people doing amazing things, you look at it and you're like, I want to do that. I want to become that person. And in that moment, you almost find like you lose your own uniqueness and your own true journey. Yeah. You've got a great sort of analogy on this. I mean, you believe that your own journey is yours to do with as you please. Make the mistakes, make your own mess, but take ownership of it, right?
100%. I really believe that. It's your journey, it's nobody else's. And also, there are a lot of people out there who say they've got your best interests at heart, but they don't. I mean, your mom's going to be worried about you. Your dad's going to want you to succeed. There might be somebody jealous in the family or a jealous friend who's going to say, nah, don't, what about this, what about that? It's your journey. and take ownership and enjoy it, you know, take those steps. And if you fail, that's the other big thing, that's okay too. You know, because when we fail, that's when we really learn. It's a really lousy thing sometimes to have to admit and go through. I hate that. I don't want to fail. I just want to succeed at everything.
Yeah.
But so often, I mean, even in the kitchen, when I make a complete hash of something, I mean, not all those recipes arrived just boom, there they are, they're perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you go and you try it and oh my gosh, okay, we'll just quietly throw that one in the bin and pretend it never happened. And then you try again, and that's okay. I think we must actually not berate ourselves and get angry with ourselves and then just go, oh no, I can't do this because I failed.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to fail a few times, and often, you know, when we look at these icons out there and these really super successful people, we hear about their success stories. We don't hear about the failures that they went through.
So true.
If you sit down with like a Richard Branson or if you sat with Steve Jobs, sit and ask them the questions about what things did you do that didn't work?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to know about the success story. But if you really want to understand what it's like to the journey of life, there are going to be a few failures, and it's okay, it's allowed.
I think it's almost necessary in order for us to grow, to achieve what we do. And I mean, I take your beautiful example, look what it's resulted in, something so incredible. And we're going to be talking about these cookbooks more. But just to chat about it, Chantal's going to continue little tips with us. And we've got something incredible. We're giving away a set of Chantal's All Sorts cookbook collection, which includes the titles All Sorts of Salads, All Sorts of Healthy Dishes, The Mediterranean Way, All Sorts of One Dish Wonders, and her latest book, All Sorts of Tapas. And now all you have to do is comment and answer the question, what hobby or activity are you most passionate about? Or, and you can put that on our competition post on Facebook, and the competition closes at midday today. T's and C's apply, and you can head over to the expressoshow.com as well. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to be chatting some more about this magic on these cookbooks, some more of this beautiful energy and what makes all of this tick. We'll see you soon, guys.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Definitely okay to need help, and maybe this next segment will help you. And we're back with clothing designer turned cookbook author Chantal Lascaris, and she's going to be going and giving up her creative take on how we can find the thing that adds meaning to our lives. Now, we were chatting earlier, and I'm loving this conversation, Chantal, because it's really invigorating this like anti-anxiety feel for me. It's giving me this excitement again to want to go and do something. A great suggestion that you've incorporated is you don't have to go and change the world. You can just start a new hobby, perhaps. And a hobby in itself is already a challenging thing, but within that, we want to still try to challenge ourselves, right? What's the rationality behind that?
Well, I think also we don't want to get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
I think COVID especially, and I know we're talking about anxiety, but we've all kind of found ourselves in a bit of a rut. And I think it's a way of trying to take us out of it. So have a hobby, but don't always just do the same thing. How about just pushing it a little bit further and just testing yourself a little bit? As soon as you achieve it, you're going to feel a million times better. And
then
that's
also
those excitements that we all crave all the time.
Yeah, and I would imagine in that process as well, you're getting to potentially get new stimulations that you've never had before. And like, hey, hang on, this is actually quite cool. I'm enjoying this. And if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. And that's a great way to find out. But then you get the extreme of this scenario where, okay, there's something that I'm committing to. And initially I have the love and the desire, and I want to go ahead and do it. But then you often see it get so consuming, and it becomes like more a burden than anything else. It's now work mode. I put on this different whole demeanor when I get into the zone. This is not a good thing, I would imagine, right?
What you're explaining is exactly what happened to me.
Okay.
So that's really how I found my thing.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be in the clothing industry. Tried fashion, it was a little iffy, so I went into the corporate clothing market. And I did really well. I was really proud of what I'd done. I'd built up a company. I had a factory in bottom end of N Street in Joburg.
Wow, okay.
Had 150 staff. Half my business was in the Middle East. And I had like this picture-perfect life. I'm on the plane the whole time.
You've made it.
I've made it. Look at this. This is fab.
Yeah.
But actually it wasn't. And I felt like that hamster that's on that treadmill, and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going. And I had like a constant cough for 4 years because that was from the aeroplane and the flying. And my husband was the one, who actually called it and said to me, hey, you know what? I don't really like the person you've become. And you can imagine, oh my gosh, how come my husband, he's supposed to be my rock and supposed to support me. He's telling me I'm grumpy and I'm always sick and I'm always tired. And I actually had to take a step back and go, you know what, you're actually spot on. So things that I had loved in the beginning, I actually didn't love anymore. And what I want to tell people is that actually you're allowed to do that, because I grew as a person, we grow as people, the world changes around us. So why does it always have to stay the same? It doesn't. And it's okay. So like, that's when he said to me, why don't you just take a break? And you always liked cooking and you liked making salads. And I went, like, what? Me? Salads? Food? I loved going to restaurants.
Yeah.
Restaurants was my thing. That was the other thing. I loved restaurants because, of course, I didn't have to make it. But I knew, the kitchen was where the fridge was. The fridge was where the milk was, and the milk was for my tea. And that was like the sum total.
Just because of God.
Yeah, that was what the kitchen was for my tea. And he said, no, come on, you're always making salads, and because we go to the bush a lot and there's never any electricity there. Yeah. So I used to have to be quite ingenious with what I had to make, because you can't, a lettuce leaf on day 4 is going to look a bit fraught, So you have to start thinking of different ways of presenting it. And he said, yeah, that's what you do. Why don't you do a book on salads? I said, what? Okay, well, let me try. I'm also, I'm not scared to try things. I mean,
something new. I'll bring
something
it on.
New.
Yeah.
You know what? All they can do is say no. I don't have to see them face to face. That was also quite nice, because that's a bit intimidating. I know my limits. So I sent in a proposal, and Penguin said, Penguin Random House, and they said, actually, we like it. Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
And there we are. So who would have thought? So
and I think the testament to that is the fact that you were real and genuine in that moment. It wasn't like you were trying to be anything other than you, right? Exactly. You were doing you, and I think you were, in a sense, realigning and finding this new passion. And I think what you said earlier is just something I want to mention to Mzansi, and it feels like there's no bad time to reinvent yourself, reassess, and relook at, am I enjoying this? Am I still loving it? Am I passionate about it? And maybe that's something I want to chat to you about. Why is that possibly, and what I look at what you're putting out there in your communication, that is one of the most important things, right? Is make sure you have that passion, make sure you have that love with whatever it is that you're putting yourself into. What's your rationality and reason for that?
I think because you've got to wake up every day, every morning, and you've got to do it time and time again. Now, you can just imagine if you hate what you do, there couldn't be anything worse. My mind boggles at the thought of what that must be like.
Yeah.
So, that's why we said take your hobbies. Even if you are doing the work that you don't really enjoy and you've got a hobby, try that out. See how it feels. Maybe can this actually be something else that could be an alternative business? It doesn't have to, you can keep your business because we've all got bills to pay, kids to go through school or whatever it is. So start small. Have something on the side. The big thing is to realize that you are going to have to work hard. So, but it's not always hard, it's about working smart.
Yeah, but I love that, and I think that's inevitable. You are going to get those moments, like you said, where you have obstacles, you have challenges, and it's the passion, it's the commitment, and it's the love that's going to inevitably get you over that point 100%. And get you to where you are right now. And where you are right now is something incredible, and this is what we were talking about, because we are giving away a set of Chantal's All Sorts cookbook collection, and that's where she is right now, and it includes the titles, all sorts of salads, all sorts of healthy dishes the Mediterranean way, and all sorts of one dish wonders. And on top of that, we're also including her latest book, which is All Sorts of Tapas. Now, I'm definitely getting hungry, and I think you guys are going to be too after you see all the incredible recipes in this. But all you have to do is comment on your answer and use answer this question: what hobby or activity are you most passionate about? Now, you can come through on our Facebook page and comment on our post, and the competition closes at midday today. Your T's and C's do apply, and they can be found on expressoshow.com. But don't worry, we are still going to be sticking with Chantal and absorbing some of this fire energy, because we've got a Pilates session that I know you're going to love at home. You don't need any equipment whatsoever, but come join us and get ready. It's going to be a fun one. All right, Mzansi, let's change the pace right now, and let's do exactly that. Right now with me, let's take one big breath in, and let all the negative Monday blues out. Now, one of the most important rules of fitness is to never skip your Monday workout. Now, whether you're doing a few light exercises or training hard, you've got to make sure that you start your week with a workout, and any workout will do. Now, if you're looking to build a strong core, then Pilates is a great option, and it's an excellent way to achieve exactly that while getting in a full body workout too. Now, of course, we've been chatting to her the entire morning. Our home chef and cookbook author, Chantal Lascaris, is still with us and will be taking us through a Monday Motivation Pilates workout. All right, Chantal? Okay. I cannot wait for this. This is something that I don't think anybody does enough of. It's so beneficial, so good for the body. Absolutely. We should be doing this every day, right?
100%. So I think when you wake up in the mornings, These are a couple of exercises that I want to show everyone to do, that you can do. Either you just do these or you just put them into the beginning of your workout and then you move into something a little more hardcore or a little, you want to do some cardio or weight training or whatever it is. These are nice simple exercises to do, and also to maybe slip in either at the beginning of the day as a mom or sort of in the evenings.
So a standalone workout or something that you can add to a workout pre or post.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I think the best part about this is it seems like it's low impact, so we don't have to worry about much, and anybody can do this, right?
Anybody can do this. I'm just going to take us through a few of the exercises.
please.
So what it is it's really just the warm-up to a Pilates class and a little bit of the first basics of the mat class.
Okay.
And then normally we would go into the rest of the hour routine. But obviously today we don't have enough time for that. So I just want to take you through the basics.
Okay, Mzansi, you guys, before we get into this, get involved. Get off the couch and come join us now. Myself and Chantal are about to get it going.
And as you can see, we're just using a carpet, so there's no fancy equipment that we need.
Beautiful.
So for me, the most important thing is, and I find that a lot of people actually don't realize that they're not connecting, is to actually get your brain and your body to synchronize. And it's about being mindful. Okay, I know we throw that word around quite a lot, and it's actually a very interesting way of actually seeing how it can work or it doesn't work. So I like to start off just to sort of get into that zone.
Okay.
So what we like to do is keep our toes and our hips and our knees all shoulder width apart.
Right.
Now most women will go like that. That's how big my hips are. No, they're not that wide. Okay, let's just keep them in nice and simple. And the first thing to do is actually just soften your knees, because we might be quite cold if it's early in the morning. You don't want to start this with straight knees.
So don't lock your knees.
So don't lock
right?
the knees, just slightly
Got you.
bent. And just start, feel nice and relaxed in your shoulders and your arms. What we're going to do is we're going to take our chin and we're going to drop it down. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at our belly button or navel. And what we're going to do is just roll slowly, slowly down, keeping your chin low, and keep looking at your belly button. And we're just going to roll down slowly. Okay? If you can get all the way to the bottom, to your toes, that's
I'm really
great.
feeling vertebra by vertebra. I'm starting to really loosen
and now
up,
you should start feeling the hamstrings stretching, and then just slowly curl up. And now the secret here is to curl up slowly. And this is where we talk one vertebra at a time. And also keep your chin looking at your belly button, so you're keeping it tucked in. And up you come. Nice and slow. That's what Pilates is all about. It's not a mad rush to get to the next
But there's
exercise.
value in this, because I'm literally feeling almost every part of my body now starting to activate, and I can get to create a communication and awareness with that.
Correct.
I love
That's what we
this.
want. So we can do one more, and then you can do a couple of these at home, and then go into the next exercise.
Right.
But we'll do one more and then move on.
Sure.
Okay. So again, chin to your
Tucked in.
not
and
and
locking the knees. Keep looking at the
and just-
navel.
There you go. You got it. And just roll down. And get that stretch going. Tuck your fingers under your toes if you can. Get a nice little stretch. Let go, and slowly, slowly roll up again. And feel those vertebrae one at a time.
Oh, even that stretch in the posterior chain below the legs, that was beautiful.
Lovely.
Starting to come alive, right? What's
Okay, now
next?
they're starting to tingle. Okay, now what actually a lot of people struggle with is balance. So what we're going to do is I want you to imagine now that you've got a pole from the top of your head and it's gone right through your body.
Okay.
So now you can't move. Now let's hope I don't fall over in front of TV. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're going to lift your one leg and you're going to balance.
All right.
Okay. Now again, you're getting your mind and your body working together. Imagine your foot is actually being implanted. Feel the weight spread evenly on your entire foot, your toes, your heels, and then put your leg down, and we'll do exactly the same thing again. Again, visualization is very important.
And I definitely am feeling stimulation. There's like a sort of proprioception happening with my foot, causing the calf and everything else to kind of just stabilize.
And now
the core is coming into play as well, right?
You don't even realize it, but there it is. And then we can put your leg down.
And how many of these would we do in a...
I would do, just because all we're trying to do with that exercise really is just get the mind, body working together and getting that coordination. So I would just do 2 or 3, and if you're feeling, you want to push yourself a little bit more, lift your leg higher, move it to the side, that sort of thing. If you're feeling comfortable with it. But you'd be amazed at how many people don't actually have great balance.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, and we haven't even gotten into the full swing of it already, but just that alone is going to wake us up.
So
it's going to get us proprioception. It's going to get that core and the balance stimulated. We're unfortunately running out of time because I would spend the entire day with you just trying to get my entire body jacked up. But we'll continue this while you, Mzansi, stick around because we've got so much more magic happening and you do not want to miss this Monday.